Hi guys, we're back. My name is Jane.
My name's Megan.
And we are the dining directors here to help you find great places to eat in Montreal.
Today we're going to be talking about romantic restaurants, which is my favorite category. I love trying romantic restaurants. I think they're so beautifully decorated and they have the best food.
Yes, and honestly, if you're in love and you're eating well,
Montreal is the place to be. Take a look at our favorite restaurants with us. My favorite restaurant in Montreal, hands down, is Laurent's. It's one of my favorite places to go. The food is so good. I don't think I've ever been to a restaurant that actually blows me away every single time. They focus on locally grown food and they really believe in using the entire animal and making sure that animals were treated fairly and properly throughout their lives before they were slaughtered.
It offers the ambience that you're looking for when you go to a romantic restaurant. They have the dim lighting. The portions are pretty small, so you know you're there to do more talking than eating, because if you're in love, you want to talk more than you eat.
What's great about Laurent's is that their portions are really good for sharing, which is why it makes it such a great romantic restaurant. They do have some appetizers. They have some great bread that they bake in-house, and it's so good. And then they have some appetizers and some main courses, but they're really small, so it's a great thing to share with the person that you're in love with and have a nice bottle of wine. What's great about Laurent's as well is that they have really helpful staff. What I mean by that is that they're not pretentious at all, which is great because some fancy restaurants can have some really snobby waiters. But Laurent's has really helpful servers that guide you through the menu and kind of show you what's different about that restaurant as opposed to all the other restaurants in the area. A little downfall of Laurent's is that it's kind of far from the city center. So it's in an area in Montreal that's called the Mile End, which is really chic and really beautiful, has lots of great places to shop, but it's far away from the other tourist attractions in the city and a lot of the hotels. You can go to Laurier metro station and it's about a 20-minute walk from there, but I assure you that it's worth it.
Guys, keep in mind that when you're eating in Montreal, there are taxes, as there are in the rest of Canada. It's 15% taxes on top of your total, plus tipping.
Which is very customary in Canada.
In fact, servers, they get paid below minimum wage because the tips round up their salaries. So do tip your waiters and your bartenders.
What's customary in Canada is usually between 15 to 20%. 15% is pretty standard, but if you have excellent service, 20% is a bit more appropriate.
While Laurent's is a great restaurant for a romantic evening out, it's a little bit heavy on the wallet, so do expect to spend about $100 plus. Meal is about $25 plus your wine, and then there's service and tipping, so keep that in mind.
In addition to the bakery and the butcher that Laurent's uses for all their bread and meats, they also have a bar right next door that's called Larry's. So if you finish up your dinner and you want to have something a little bit more lively afterwards, you can just head right next door and have a drink, and then their kitchen is open much later. So if you feel like some dessert or a late night snack, that's the place to go. As much as I love Laurent's as a restaurant, there are a couple downfalls. One of which being that their menu is extremely limited. I'm talking like a total of 10 items. And that means that you have to wait until the next time they change their menu to get a whole new set of dishes.
Another sort of downfall of Laurent's is that they offer no Wi-Fi. But on the other hand, if you're going for a romantic date, you shouldn't be on your computer.
Yeah, Laurent's is the absolute best restaurant in Montreal to have a romantic date.
Now, we are going to talk to you about our 2 runner-ups for romantic restaurants. One of them is Holder. Holder restaurant is located at the Old Port. It's beautiful. The moment you walk in, you will feel like you are in a different universe. You are met by these big, beautiful grand bars with bottles of wine. The servers are dressed in white. It's dim. There's music. Very classically French. Now you have the option to go sit at the bar and to have a drink, or you can be escorted directly to your table. They have the classic French dishes like salmon tartare and foie gras and pâté, but they also offer nice cuts of meats like filet mignon.
What's nice about Holder is that it's a very classic French restaurant, but it's not overly pretentious at all. The service is really great and informative, but it doesn't feel stuffy or too fancy. The dishes are unique and delicious, but they're not overly expensive, which is great if you're traveling on a budget. Even though the restaurant is very classically charming and beautiful, it's not the best restaurant if you want to share meals. So their menu focuses more on full-on style dishes that are a full meal for one person and not so much on sharing dishes.
It's located by Square Victoria Metro and Champ des Mars. From both of those metro stations, it's a nice walk through the Old Port. And after your meal, you can go and have a nice walk after.
Okay, now lastly on our list, we're going to be talking about Iberica, which is a Spanish-style tapas bar located in downtown Montreal. What's great about Iberica is that it serves classic style Barcelona tapas. So what tapas are is that they're small little sharing plates, which makes it perfect for romantic dates. So you can have little patatas bravas, which is a potato style Spanish tapa, which is like fried potatoes with the sauce on top. Have paella, which is a rice and seafood style dish, which is great for sharing. And then you can wash it down with a bottle of cava, which is Spanish style sparkling wine. So what's great about Iberica is that it serves authentic style Spanish food, but it's not gimmicky Spanish, it's authentic. I love the staff there because the menu can be quite overwhelming. It actually has so many options, but if you don't really know what to get or you're not familiar with Spanish food, it can be really confusing. So their waitstaff are super patient and they're great at recommending options that are great to share or to have on your own. That being said, the portions can be really small. So when you're ordering 5 to 6 tapas for a 2-person meal, the bill can get really high really quickly.
As much as Iberica is fitting for a good place to go with your significant other, it's a little bit small. Tables are kind of close together.
And finally, our favorite point about Iberica is its location. It's located on Peel Street and Sherbrooke. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us again. I hope you enjoyed our video about the best romantic restaurants for tourists in the city. I know we had a great time researching this one.
And please, we want to hear you. Leave your comments below. Tell us what you think. If we forgot anything, if you have anything to add, write them below.
Make sure to subscribe and we'll see you next time.
And be sure to hit that bell while you're at it, huh? That way you get a notification every time we post something new.
See you next time.
Bye!